Okay, so you may be curious, what are the things that we need for culture? So the first thing is PVC pipe or polyvinyl chloride pipes, and then the second one is planting hole. It is a hole that ducts in the rock wall for the purpose of planting seeds, and then circuits, and then panel fabric. The next is dead pot. It is a type of container made of plastic and has a perforated bottom. It allows plant roots to grow through the pot into the nutrient-rich water below. And then the sixth one is pumps for pumping the water. Next is rock wool, AB mixed fertilizer, and our team use white mustard green seedlings. So what are the advantages of verticulture? The first one is it uses efficient space utilization. Verticulture allows the cultivation of crops in a smaller footprint compared to the traditional horizontal farming methods. And then the water conservation significantly reduces water usage through controlled irrigation systems and recirculation. And then horticulture minimizes the need for chemical inputs and reduces the carbon footprint associated with transportation. And then with the controlled environments, horticulture enables year-round cultivation, providing a consistent supply of fresh produce. And then horticulture holds a great potential in addressing global food security challenges and reducing the environmental impact of agriculture. And the last one is the technological advancements. It continued research and innovations in horticulture technologies are expected to further enhance its efficiency and viability.
Okay, so now uh, we've seen the advantages of verticulture. We want to show you the pros and cons of hydroponics for the to see which one is better. So first of all, with hydroponics, we have reduced water consumption because the water flows from all each of the pipes, and so we don't really let any of the water go to waste. So we don't have to use as much water as we do on other agricultural systems, and producing high quality food for high populations. Now with hydroponics, usually the fruits we get from it are actually higher quality, and that's one of the pros of hydroponics. And we have reduced rate of pests and fungus because we don't use soil on hydroponics. We don't really have as much pests and fungus growing on the soils. And then optimal use of area. One of the good things about hydroponics is the less usage of land, and then improved yield. It means that we have higher control of the nutrients and the space and the environments of where the plants go. And now on the cons is that hydroponics have a higher setup cost, and so that's one of the things verticulture has better, because verticulture doesn't cost as much to set up, which means it's more accessible for more people. And then reliance on constant power supply, because hydroponics rely more on the automated watering system. It always needs the electrical system to be on. And then susceptibility to waterborne diseases, because the water is always flowing and there's just one water system. If a virus goes to the water system, then the virus will spread easily to all the plants. And then vertical systems are more accessible for plant control and maintenance. That's verticulture, and high level maintenance and monitoring. So basically, because of how hydroponics is made, it needs even more higher maintenance, and it just needs more manpower to make sure it goes well.
Thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. It is really to share things for chances on giving you maybe some insight about the verticultural hydroponics. So do you have any question?
Hey, I think there is no questions, Faika, because everybody is busy to prepare their presentations. So, Faika, please
Okay.
choose one group.
Okay. If I may, I want to close my team presentation first one. Thank you very much for listening and stay curious. Tulis apa ya? Kelompoknya J.
Okay, Jay, are you ready? So please stop share, Faika. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Permission to share the presentation on screen?
Yes.
Is it showing already?
In progress.
Okay. Hang on. Okay, is it showing? Hello?
Yeah, you may start.
Okay. World hunger is nothing new to our ears, and yet people still waste food without shedding a tear. And all these disposal towers high above, inducing fear of health, environment, and even other issues that are beyond our control. Is there something we can do to stop this from getting worse? Or shall we let these piles become a devil's coat on earth? And that brings us to today's topic regarding an innovation created by Mr. Takakura that acts as a step in bringing our society closer to a zero-waste environment for a better future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Team 5, and today we will expose about Takakura Composting Method, or TCM. First, I would like to say something about the community these last days. When the community still have this habit of throwing out their leftovers while being unaware of the harms it can cause to the environment, we beg to differ with this lifestyle. Therefore, that's why we would like to introduce you all to the Takakura composting method. In this presentation, 5 main points will be discussed. First, we will begin with what is exactly Takakura composting method, or as we call it, TCM, and how it can be well known to people from then until now. The second point is about the problem formulation. And in the third section, we will point our motive, like how and why is it important to do TCM. And last but not least, the fourth and fifth points will be explaining and more focused on the methods of doing Takakura composting as well as its benefits. This is our team member. First, we have Zahra. Second, we have Yuni and myself. And then there's Naya and Astari and Kevin. So first, we will be discussing about the introduction of Takakura composting as to what it is. And that will be explained by Astari or Atta. Take it away, Atta.
Okay, thank you, Jay. So, hello everyone. Now, you may be wondering, what is the Takakura composting method? Allow me, Astari, to give you a little bit of introduction about the Takakura composting method, also known as TCM. So, TCM is one of the composting methods that is beneficial for reducing food waste found by Mr. Takakura. Mr. Takakura invented that method to solve garbage disposal problems in Surabaya, Indonesia. Hence, it is categorized as simple and cost-friendly to save the environment. Furthermore, the materials for TCM can be found in our daily life, such as fermented foods and fruit peels. Some countries that have already applied this method besides Indonesia are Vietnam, Philippines, Japan, and Nepal. So now we have already figured out the brief introduction of the Takakura composting method, or TCM. There are a few aspects and problems you might face in the process of creating the product, Therefore, we will be presenting the problem formulation that is crucial for the result. For the next topic, my teammate, Yuni, will give further explanation regarding the problem formulation. Yuni, take your time.
Thank you, Atta. Okay, now I will explain the analytic of the problem formulation that me and my team have discussed. So, first we begin in explaining our effort to optimize the effectiveness of the Takakura methods in thermometric impact on organic waste reduction and the superiority of this method over other composting alternatives. Secondly, the success of the Takakula's innovation. And final, one illustrate the direction of exciting educational models to share this sustainable solution with diverse communities, from farmers to educators to local communities. Okay, that's the problem formulation for the innovation we are going to make. And now we will explain why we should start doing TCM, which will be presented by Zahra.
Okay, thank you, Yuni. So now I will tell you why we should do this TCM. Garbage disposal has been a big problem for the longest time. If these issues aren't solved as quickly as possible, it can lead to more problems. So one way to help with processing waste is by composting. The Takakura method is one of the ways to deal with domestic disposal, including food waste. So what is composting? Composting is controlled decomposition, a natural process of breaking down organic materials. Composting transforms the raw materials into biologically stable compounds containing humus substance. So the Takakura method is the method of composting organic waste on a household scale using basket. The Takakura basket style composting process is an anaerobic composting process, where air is needed as important intake in the growth process of microorganisms that compose waste into compost. So now we already know why we should do this TCM. For the next step, we should know how to make it. My friends, Kevin and Aya will explain it. Kevin and Aya, time is yours.
Okay, hi everyone. So after we heard about the introduction, the reason why we must use TCM, me and Aya will explain about how to make or the method of TCM itself. First thing first, we must prepare starter microorganisms that the organic materials inquired. A fermentative microorganism is required in order to compost organic waste. And then the white bacteria on fallen leaf in forest is called actinomycete, or in Indonesia we call actinomycota. Actinomycete breaks down the fibers. And for the basidiomycete, or Indonesia we call basidiomycota, breaks down woody substances and breaks down the hard fibers in organic waste. For safety reasons, commercially available fungus or mushroom are advised.
The starter is needed to activate the microorganism in Takakura. The example of starter that can be used in Takakura are dry yeast, tempeh, yogurt, fermented cassava, and sugary liquid as the food for the microorganism.
Okay, and the second step is making Takakura composite. Takakura composite are made from some materials. What are they?
First, Takakura composting needs carbon-rich material. The example of carbon-rich material are dry leaves, dry grass, sawdust, husk, and hay. Meanwhile, nitrogen-rich material are vegetables, fruits, tea or coffee, fruit peel, and fertilizer, with the ratio between carbon-rich material and nitrogen-rich materials are 1:2.
Okay, for the last steps is prepare the Takakura baskets. So first thing first, we must prepare a basket and measuring approximately 60 liters. The basket can be made from plastic, woven bamboo, or woven rattan.
The basket requires with many holes so there will be air circulation or aerobic, and pillow made out of husk, coconut fibers, or a patchwork and a cardboard layer on the sides so the humidity is well maintained. And the last one is mixer, so that the oxygen can enter and flow into the compost mix. Now, go back to Jay.
Okay, so now we have discussed about the benefits and the steps on making Takakura. Now, I will explain further why Takakura is better than other composting methods. The results show the higher benefits for the Takakura composting method with like 78.33% in degradation, followed by 61.81% in the Bokashi method and 45% in traditional composting. Also, regarding the psychochemical characteristics showing that the Takakura method is obtained the best values. So not only in the aspects of the degradation of the nutrients given to the Takakura, it is also the most efficient, and you can say it's easy to do at home. So why not doing Takakura? Last but not least, let's summarize. Now we've dug deeper about like the methods and everything else. Let's summarize our points from the start, shall we? Takakura composting method, or as we call it TCM, can act as a small step into creating a zero waste environment. Thus, we ought to consider the key factors in making this method as effective as possible, starting from its nutrients, its bacteria, and its composting organisms. By considering these factors, the TCM we manufacture can be an innovation as a starting point to make this world a better place. And of course, it's our goal to reduce organic and domestic waste. By using TCM, we can achieve our goals, not only reducing waste, but also making something useful out of it, like a fertilizer. We can use these fertilizers to help our garden thrive and be better. And if we don't do it, if it's not us, who else? And if not now, when? Thank you for sticking around with us and our journey in the step of making our world a better place. Perhaps there are things you'd like to know more about TCM. Feel free to ask us. See you later.
Okay, thank you, Zauza and friends. Okay, Zauza, you may choose one group and stop the share screen. Okay, I will give review after all groups present their presentations, yeah? So, Zauza, please choose one group.
I would like to choose the second team, Miss.
Yeah, group 2, the second group. Are you here? Yeah,
Permission to
please,
stop share.
yes. Hello, group 2, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, we are here.
Yeah, please.
And I
start.
want to sharing my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Oops. Hola, agent of change. Did you know that our natural resources such as coal and petroleum are depleting each year? Also, the emission produced by those resources are dangerous to life on Earth. So, how do we stop this problem as agent of change? Well, today we are from Group 2 want to present about our solution to solve those problems. But before that, you are probably wondering why we are using briquette and why briquette. First, our natural resources to make energy is decreasing. As you can see on the chart, our coal and petroleum production is reducing by number each year. That means we cannot always rely on these two natural resources. We need to change by using another resource as a full. Second, the emission produced by these two are really high. As you can see on the chart, the coal is number 1, and while the oil is number 3. If we rely on these two for a long time, the CO2 will be higher and higher, and the temperature on Earth starting to rising. Then, what the society think about this problem? Also, the briquette as an opportunity to become a solution to the problem that we have mentioned before. For the next material, will be presented by my partner.
Next, how does society respond to this? Of 96,851 respondents in 2019, it was found that community strongly supports the use of renewable. They want the use of renewable energy to be more effective. They are also optimistic that energy can continue to grow.